before Canada, I had a life. In Norway, I had a life. So before and after Canada, it's kind of like before and after something big happened. So previously I was an officer, and I will always be an officer. That's that's who I am. I'm an officer. And the first thing I did was to make a new uniform for girls in the Navy.
Oh.
So today they still use it, also the hat, according to what I know. They still use it. So then I wiped out the difference between the two officers. We had two groups of officers, and I wiped that difference, and I went to the Naval Academy. So according, with the two other guys that came from the candidate school, because I proved that this is the same. We had the same in Sjøklarkorps, and we had the same experience as they had in the first year in Naval Academy. So we only had to take, so two other officers applied and came in with me. And then I was the first woman to, among the first women to...
You were honored through the...
be examined from the Naval Academy. So that was the three achievements I made before I started in the Naval Academy, actually. And then I want to tell you about the experience I had with a commander at the Coast Guard. I want to tell you this because it's an indication of how wrong things can go if you don't take the right decisions. If you don't make the right decisions. So that's I want to tell you about this because we had a ship commander at the Naval Academy. No, at the Coast Guard, I mean, KV and he was, I told him that we have a girl that has second to third degree burn on her feet because she had hot boiling water over her feet on the back. And it was with pig's knuckles boiling, and she had it over her legs. And that was pretty bad. So I put her in the tub because it was second to third degree burn. And I told the commander-in-chief at the KV, and he didn't believe. He said, "You have to go out and give me a new report." And meanwhile, the helicopter was driving the opposite way of the Coast Guard. So he said, "Go out and give me a new report." And I said to the second in command, I said, "What is this? What is going on?" And he was also baffled about this. So we went out, and I just turned around and I gave the same report. And meanwhile, the helicopter has moved away from the Coast Guard. So the return time has doubled. So then he finally, I told him it's a second to third degree burn on her legs, and she's in the bathtub, and she has to go to a hospital. So then I was thinking, this is exercise. He said, Oh, it has to continue the exercise.
They were on a naval exercise. It wasn't an actual, they weren't in conflict. They were just performing naval exercises. And the captain thought it was too important to finish the exercise rather than look after his injured sailor.
Yeah. And that's how I learned that it's important to take the decision, to make the correct decision. So finally she went to the hospital after many, as you understand, many travesties. She came to the hospital and she came back to the Coast Guard and she served for many years, and I asked her how she was, and she said it was a little tight behind on her legs. But she wanted to come back to the Coast Guard. That's good. So, before and after I came to Canada, it's been a misery from day one. It's been a tragedy from day one. Because the first thing that happened was I had to go back to Norway to do some exercise.
We came in the middle of the night, and my brother-in-law very graciously had hired a sea can to carry all our stuff over. But, and I had all the documents prepared, and then we had to go to immigration. And she handed her immigration documents in, and he said, "Welcome to Canada, Ms. Walla, but you have no right to work here." They hadn't filed any of the documents.
They hadn't filed my papers correctly. So I had to go back to Norway, and then I asked Øyvind Bell, who was then in charge of that, and I asked him why my documents wasn't processed properly. And he didn't reply to that. So, it has been a tragedy from day one. And now it's over. I'm very glad about that. So, this is what I have to say.